Hello Dungeon Delvers, and welcome to the Dungeon Directory, your source for all guides D&D, and today we're going to be discussing how to make battle maps online for free using the tool Inkarnate. If you don't know what Inkarnate is, I'll fill you in real quick. So Inkarnate is a free web app that you can use to make custom battle maps and world maps, all from scratch. It does also have a pro mode, which unlocks extra features, but it's not required for most of the basic maps, like the ones we'll be making today. It has all kinds of different tools and assets to fit any kind of setting you could be working with. So today, I'll show you how to use them. Without further ado, let's delve right in. Alright, so I've gone ahead and actually made a brand new account here on Inkarnate. Just go to the website inkarnate.com and sign up there. It's totally free. All you need is an email address and you can sign right up. So I've gone and made a new one just so that I can show you how to do it with the free version. My regular account's the pro version. So I want to show you that this can be done totally for free. So as soon as you log in, you're going to be greeted with this screen that says Welcome to Inkarnate. And the first thing we're going to do is come over to the corner here and click Create Map. Now in here, there's a whole bunch of different assets and different options we can pick here. There's some options for worlds and for regional maps, but we're looking at the fantasy battle map here. And again, we're going for the free version. The pro version has all kinds of other stuff on it, but we're going to ignore that for now. So onto the free version here. We're going to choose that style, and there are a whole bunch of different options you can pick, from the resolution of your map to all the different shapes and sizes. But again, we're just going with the landscape, which is fine for most battle maps. So that's going to take a minute to load up. And as soon as that's in, there's a few things that we're going to want to do with our map here. So this is the default that's going to pop up every time you make a map. And the first thing I always recommend doing is coming to the tool right down here on the left. If you take a look on the left, you can see all your different tools. And you're going to click on the grid tool and open that up. And you're going to turn on the grid. So what this is going to do is it's just going to allow you to have a frame of reference for where things are on your map and how big they're going to be. If you're planning on printing this out, these will be 1-inch cubes. And if you're planning on using it on a digital tabletop, then this will be what one token will fit inside of. So it's just a useful frame of reference here. Now the next thing we're going to want to do is we're going to want to come to our mask tool, which is in the top left, second one down. And what we're going to do first is we're going to want to add a foreground. So by default, what we're looking at here is a background. This is a background that's painted to look like mud. So we're going to take the mask tool. We're going to select any one of the options. I like the edge tool, sharpen edge. And we're going to click add and make it as big as it can go. And we're just going to go through and fill in all of this with land. So as soon as we've added all the land, then we're going to want to subtract anything that we want to be water. So if we want to have a little pond in the middle, we can adjust the size of our brush. We can adjust it right here on the left or at the top. So we'll pick a size that we think's all right, and we'll make a little pond here, we'll say. There we go, this can be our pond. And again, you don't want to make it a perfect circle. You want to add some little bits and bobs to the edge. And there we go, that's going to be our pond. So now we have our land, which is green, and our pond, which is the mud. So next of all, we're going to move on to painting. So the tool right underneath the mask tool is the brush tool. And this is what's going to let us paint our background. So the first thing that we're going to want to do is select foreground or background. So if you remember, the foreground is our land. So anything we paint on this layer will paint on the land. And our background is what we want our water to be. So anything we paint on this layer will look like our water. So the first thing we're going to want to do is open up the big list of different textures. And we're going to search for water. So you can see there's a whole bunch of different kinds of water. And we're just going to select this water. That's a fine water. And we're just going to go through here and we're going to paint in the whole pond with water. Perfect. Once we're done that, we can see that now we have a little bit of water in the middle of our map here. So then we're going to come to our foreground and we're going to change the kind of grass that we've got here. So now that we've painted in our water, we're going to do our foreground next. So I'm pretty content with making this somewhat of an open field that our players can pass through here. So we're going to pull this up and we've already set grass. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a path first of all. So we're going to come here to the stone wall and we're going to make just a little bit of a stone path that passes through. So maybe it'll come starting in the top corner and it'll kind of work its way around past the pond and then out to the bottom left here. And this doesn't have to be super perfect. We'll come back in a little bit and touch it up. So there we go, we've got our little path that comes through. Now we're going to add a little bit of extra detail to our path to make it look a little bit less painted on. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to grab some other kind of ground. So maybe we can grab the dirt that's got the water in it, and we're going to turn down our opacity of that. We'll turn it down to about a 7, and we're just going to come in here real lightly and just kind of give a couple little taps here and there on it. Nothing too crazy, just to kind of add some other colors in there. And we're also going to do this around here in our grass. I love having different colors that are all kind of mixed together, particularly in anywhere that you think people would walk. So I think around the back of the pond here, we're going to have a little campsite. So we'll put a little bit of just dirt over there, maybe a little bit over here too. And again, the opacity is low, so we'll just do a little bit. Maybe we can even turn it up a bit and paint in some little puddles on the path here. Path isn't perfect. Awesome. And I think the path even looks a little bit too new. So we're going to go back to our grass here, and we're just going to paint in over little bits of it here. Something like the grass is starting to kind of overgrow the path a little bit. Perfect, I'm pretty content with that. So now that we have our background setting, the next thing that we're going to want to do is add our main structures. So to do that, you're going to want to come to the stamp tool, which is right under the brush, and we're going to open this up here. So what are our main tools going to be? Right off the bat, we discussed that I want to have a campsite, so maybe some tents or a fire or little bits of things laying around. Maybe along the path we'll have a couple little stone walls or maybe some wooden little fences. And then just scattered about we'll have maybe a couple of trees, I think. So again, the first thing we're going to want to do is pick out what we want to use for our main layer. So in the free stamps here, you can see we've got all kinds of different stuff here, and we're going to take the tent. So we'll take a couple of tents and we're going to put them down, and we'll rotate them to kind of face a little bit more inwards here. And we'll put down a couple of tents. We'll put one here, maybe we'll put one over here as well. Perfect, so there's our 3 tents. So we also wanted to have a fire, so we're going to come here and take the campfire. I'll make sure that's lit, and we'll put it right here. Perfect. Now, we're going to want to take a couple of these ruined walls, I think, and we're going to put them along the edge of the path. Now, those are a little big, so we're going to scale them down a bit. And we're just going to put them every here or there along the path. Now, I don't want to use the same wall all the way down, so I'm just going to swap it up as I kind of go through, just to add a little bit of guiding and direction as our players come down the path here. Perfect. And anything else that you see in here that you think could be neat, go ahead and throw in yours. So maybe I'll put down a shovel here. Put that down somewhere over here. And maybe we'll put down a couple of boxes. We'll put the boxes here. I want my boxes a little bit bigger. So a bit bigger. Maybe we'll do 2 boxes here. One there. One here. And we'll turn that as well. And maybe we'll put an open box on top of those. Perfect. So what else is there to play with? There's some barrels as well. So maybe we'll put a couple of barrels next to our boxes. We'll put a barrel here. Put a barrel here. Maybe we'll make the other one standing up as well. Why not? Perfect. Just a couple of barrels. And then again, we'll put one right on top here. What else do we have that's fun here? Maybe a little table. We'll put down a little table here between our tents. Throw one down there. Perfect. And then maybe on top of the table, we've got a couple little mugs here. See, now this is a really interesting tool. If we look at the rotational angle, we can set that to be random. That way, every time you put down something, the rotation will change. I can show you well with the box. You can see every box that I place will be a different rotation. That way stuff just looks more natural and not so copy-pasted. So we're going to grab the mug and we're going to make sure that that's turned on, and then we'll put a couple of them down here on the table. Perfect. So that's a lot of our main stuff that we want to have added. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to open up our layers in the top right. And you can see we have 20 objects on layer 1. That's everything that we've put down here. So all the walls, all the tents, all these special little accents that we've put down here. And we're going to lock that layer by clicking the little lock that's right next to it. So once that's done, the next thing that we're going to want to do is add the setting. So like I mentioned before, we're going to put a couple little trees down on here. So the next tool I want to tell you about is the random stamps tool. So when you check this, it's going to randomly pick one of these stamps from the whole set. So any one of these 6 trees could get picked. So I'll make it a little bit bigger here. Perfect. We'll just start stamping down trees here. Again, I still have the random rotation turned on. And don't be afraid to overlap some trees over your stuff to add a little bit of depth. I'll throw one more down here. Perfect, and I'm pretty content with that as well. Now, the last thing we're going to want to do is we're going to take these trees and we're actually going to move them off the layer. We don't want them to be on the same layer that's locked as all of our other stuff. So we're going to take the trees and we're going to look at this icon right here. This is the layer. So by changing this, we're changing the layer that our object is on, and we can interact with it differently. So we're going to move all the trees up to layer 2. Anything that's on a higher layer will be on top of something. So for example, if we take a look at this tree that's over top of the tent right here, if I bring the layer down, it will be underneath the tent. And of course, that's not what we want. So we're going to bring the layer up to layer 2 to make sure it's on top of all the other stuff that we've set up here. And as well, because we have layer 1 locked, that means that if we try to select some stuff that's on layer 2, we won't select anything from layer 1. So for example, if I select this tree, I won't select the tent or the barrels. I'll just select the tree. So we're going to lock up layer 2 because we're finished up with that. Now, as you can see, there's a massive, massive catalog of stamps. There's all kinds of stuff you can use. Everything from bits of food and more tents. You can see all kinds of other animals and furniture. And there really is a lot of settings. There's gothic, horror, there's orc, elven, steampunk even, trains, ships. I think they're adding planes soon. But yeah, it gives you an idea of all the kind of stuff that you can go with. So once we're done here, we're going to come to the grid tool once again, which we turned on at the start. And if you're using a digital map, so for example, something like on Roll20, we're going to turn off the grid. Roll20 has a built-in grid, so we don't need this anymore. If you plan on printing out your grid to use on an actual tabletop, then you'll want to keep it turned on. That way you have a reference on the actual map. So I'm going to be using this on Roll20, so I'll turn off the grid and then we'll save. And it's going to pop up asking for the name. So I'm going to make this Path Camp. So we'll save that, and it's going to take its time to save. Perfect. So now that it's saved, in the top corner, you're going to see map saved, and we're good to go. So the next thing to do is we're going to click the 3 lines in the top, and we're going to click Export Image As. And it's going to show you the resolution, HD export, which I don't recommend using for now. We'll just stick to the regular old 2K, and we're going to click Save Image. Now you can see it's going to download our image, and we're going to take that and we'll just drop it on our desktop. And now, as you can see, we have our brand new battle map right here, ready to go. It's really as simple as that. It only takes a couple of minutes. And with a little bit of practice, you'll be able to make some really nice looking battle maps really, really fast. If you really do end up enjoying the program, I would encourage you to buy the Pro version just because it opens up so more possibilities. You get different Arctic colors, and you get different lavas you can paint onto your map instead of water. You would just get so many more options. You can make such more diverse maps. It's $5 a month, so it really is worth it. Thank you so much for sticking around to the end of the video. If you enjoyed the topic, it'd be hugely helpful if you considered liking the video and subscribing to the channel for more weekly D&D content. If you had a topic that you wanted me to cover, go ahead and throw it down in the comments section below, and I'll take a look. Anyway, thanks for watching.